to you all for not having my camera tonight. Hopefully I'll be in a position to do that tomorrow night, God's willing. But we want to continue anyway. As long as you can hear me, then we will continue.
Yes, we're ready, Dr. Richards, we're ready.
Right. And the thing is, I am seeing a couple of people with their picture not up. So I am supposing that they are new. Just want to let you know that one of the rules is that you're supposed to have your picture and your name. All right. So those that are in charge of that are supposed to contact you and let you know. And the reason, and maybe they did already, that's why you are in. All right. Now we want to continue the time that we have left, where we left off last week. In this second part, we are dealing with Jesus himself and his sermon, his first sermon called the Sermon on the Mount. And we have reached where Jesus said, I did not come to destroy the law, I came to fulfill it. And I explained what that meant. I explained now that everything is tied up on our in Jesus Christ and not the law. All right. And in fact, you can say he is now the law. So whatever he says goes. And very often you would have read that he said, it has been said, but I say. Right. So he was taking charge. So we are now new dispensation, a new covenant actually. And that covenant is in Jesus Christ. So we talked about that the last time. So Jesus continues his discourse. He continues his sermon. He continues his message. And he says in verse 21 of chapter 5, you have heard that it was said of old, you shall not murder. And whoever murders will be in danger of the judgment. But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And what is Jesus saying? What is this danger of the judgment? Well, the Jews had their judicial system, and like we do, there were different levels. So according to what kind of crime you committed, even now, what kind of crime you commit, you go before a magistrate, or you may go in the first assize court, and if you whatever decision is made, you can appeal to the appeal court, and so there are different levels, and the judgment was one level, and the judgment at the judgment, the punishment inflicted at the judgment level was actually beheading. If you murder somebody, you would be beheaded. So let me read it again. You have heard that it is said, that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of the judgment. In other words, you'll be in danger of being beheaded. But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of the judgment. So Jesus is saying it's not just taking a gun and shoot him, or taking a knife and stab him, or pushing him off a cliff, or taking a car and running him over. He said, if you are angry with your brother without a cause, Jesus is introducing this principle into the kingdom. Let me rephrase that. He is just introducing this kingdom principle to the people. So this is a principle of the kingdom. So he's not introducing the principle into the kingdom. This is a principle of the kingdom. If you're angry with your brother without cause, now that seems so, why, there's something to lose your head for, but yeah, that's what Jesus is saying. And why is that? Because anger is a terrible thing. You see, anger leads to other sins. Anger leads to other sins. Anger is not good, it is bad. What is anger? Well, the dictionary says anger is an intense emotional state characterized by feelings of displeasure, irritation, and hostility, triggered by a perceived provocation, hurt, or threat. It's an intense emotional state characterized, or you can tell what it is, or it comes from feelings of displeasure, irritation, and hostility. And that was triggered by perceived provocation, hurt, or threat. Now, we have spoken about anger before, but we're going to do it again. Anger is considered one of the basic emotions, along with things like happiness and sadness. But what is important to understand about anger is that it is a secondary emotion. What do I mean by a secondary emotion? Anger doesn't just happen like that. Anger happens because of something. So it is the thing that happens that causes the anger. People don't just get angry for no reason. Anger is a secondary emotion. It's not a primary emotion. And some of the things that cause anger will be things like hurt, you get hurt, shame, frustration, loneliness, and the other things as well. So these things cause us to get angry. It affects the way we think and behave. And anger may also affect your mental health and your physical health as well. Anger. And it's important to know that your anger doesn't go away because you unleash your anger, you start to shout and carry on. Anger, that is not what's going to make your anger go away. In fact, that just makes your anger escalate. When you lash out at somebody, when you shout at them, when you hit out at them, it causes your anger to escalate. So anger itself becomes a problem when it is too strong and it happens too often and it lasts too long. Because anger can lead to violence, it can lead to aggression, and it could lead to physical murder. And anger also messes with relationships. People stay away from angry people. I am sure if I do a poll now and ask you if you would have a relationship with somebody who's always angry, I'm sure your answer would be no. And we're not just talking about a husband and wife relationship, a boyfriend or girlfriend. If you have a friend and that person always vexed, they're always angry, they're always quarreling, they always have a problem. Every little thing triggers them off. You don't want to be around somebody like that. So it spoils relationships. So what causes anger? Well, things that happen to us, reacting to things not internally but externally, reacting to people, reacting to things that happen. You get a bad drive, you get angry. And sometimes worrying causes you to be angry too. You're worrying about things that you can't control, you have no control over, and it gets you angry. And that's why feeling of inadequacy, when you can't control what is going on. When you're ashamed, somebody does something to you and embarrass you, you get angry. When you're anxious, you get angry. You go to the doctor and the doctor gives you bad news. It's not the doctor's fault. What happened to you happened to you, but you get angry. Feelings of disgust and even isolation causes anger. Sometimes it's just something that happened way many years ago, upsetting memories from the past. All these things cause angry. And at the root of many angry feelings is this feeling of powerlessness. I can't do anything about it. Somebody slapped me and I can't slap them back. Somebody say something about me, it caused me to get demoted, it caused people to look at me in a particular way, and I can't do anything. You get angry. And all of us get angry when we are not able to do anything about the situation, when we can't correct it, when we can't improve it. We get angry. You get up, you're late for work, and traffic jam. Some people curse and carry on. Some people, you would swear that somebody just take all the money they had. You're sitting on traffic jam and you're eating up yourself. You're angry because you have no control and you want the cars to move faster. And somehow, I am sure you can identify with it. It's only when you're late, the cars in front of you moving slow. When you have plenty time, traffic flows. But you're late and everything happening. The man driving in front of you, the light going to change and you're blowing your horn, move, go, 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 and he stopped by the light. You get angry. Because as far as you're concerned, he could have gone through the light and you would have gone through as well. You get angry for little things that would not normally make you angry. But you're frustrated, you're disappointed. A lot of negative emotion causes anger. And that's why I say to you, anger is a secondary emotion. But I want you to understand, it is not always people and things that happen that make you angry. It's how you react to them. Because you and I will face the same situation and I will get vexed and I will get angry and you cool. And vice versa. So it is how we react to things. The children getting their vexed, you're talking to them over and over, and they do something again. You get vexed. People, we all get angry now. Some of us are not easily angered. I'm telling you, I don't get angry easily, but I do get angry. I do. And other people, and the kind of things I see them get angry for, that trip them. And I wonder why. Because when you lose it, you are actually given control over to the thing or the person. What happens when we get angry? We are given control. We are losing control when we get angry. Proverbs 25:28. What does that say? I know somebody has that. Proverbs 25:28.
Good evening, everyone. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls.
Thank you. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit, in other words, whoever gets angry just like that, you can't control yourself. Proverbs said, is like a city broken down without walls. Well, they're talking about, in their time, the strength of a city was the wall. The thicker the wall, the stronger the city, because people had to penetrate the wall. Remember the Joshua and Jericho? Jericho walls were thick that several chariots could run on the walls. So they couldn't defeat Jericho just like that. It took a supernatural force because of the strength of the wall. And if this city walls are broken down, then the enemy could come in. So it says, whoever has no rule over his spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Anything could happen. You're easily triggered. You have no self-control. Proverbs 29:22. What does that say?
Good night, everyone. An angry man stirred up strife, and a furious man abounded in transgression.
Thank
Amen.
you. An angry man stirs up strife. An angry man doesn't cause people to smile and be nice. He stirs up strife. He causes more people to get angry. He causes problem. An angry man causes problem. And ladies, don't say we're not including you, because man means man and woman. Anger does nothing but stir up strife. And a furious man abounds in transgression. You sin. Transgression is sin. It causes you to sin. Ecclesiastes 7:9.
Good evening, everyone. Do not hasten in your spirit to be angry, for anger rests in the bosom of fools.
Do not get angry quickly. Thank you. Do not get angry quickly. For anger rests in the bosom of fools. Then the Bible is calling you foolish. In the bosom of fool, means it's close to you. It's close to your chest. You have it there, just ready to unleash it. Don't get angry quickly. Do not get angry. We'll talk about how to do that. In the time we have, let's look at some of the people in the Bible who got angry. Genesis 4, verses 3 to 5.
Good night, everyone. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord. Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat. And the Lord respected Abel and his offering, but he did not accept Cain and his offering. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell.
Thank you. Cain was very angry because the Lord did not accept or have respect for his offering. He was angry. And we know the story. That anger led to murder. Cain was jealous of his brother, and jealousy is what caused the anger. Anger is a secondary emotion. He was jealous of his brother, and so he got angry. And the result of that is that his brother died. He killed his brother. The first murder recorded in history or in the Bible. Let's look at Genesis 27:41.
Good evening. So Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, "The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will kill my brother Jacob."
Thank you. You hear that? You hear that? Esau hated Jacob. He was angry because that his brother stole his blessing, his birthright first and then his blessing. And he said, you know what? After the time of mourning, because they were very strict with that, he said, and I'm going to kill my brother. His anger led him to that he wanted it, but he didn't. In this case, it didn't end up where Jacob was murdered, but he had to run for his life. He had to run for his life because of his brother's anger, rage, fury. Let's look at Numbers 20, verses 7 to 12.
Good evening, everyone. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Take the rod, you and your brother Aaron, and gather the congregation together. Speak to the rock before their eyes, and it will yield its water. Thus you shall bring water from them out of the rock, and give drink to the congregation, and their animals, So Moses took the rod from before the Lord, as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the assembly together before the rock. And he said to them, "Hear now, you rebels, must we bring water for you out of this rock?" Then Moses lifted his hands and struck the rock twice with his rod, and water came out abundantly, and the congregation and their animals drank. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not believe me to hallow me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them."
Thank you. Moses was angry with the people, and I read this. I know I've read this so often, but every time I laugh with him. Moses goes in front of people and says, "You rebels!" He shouted at them. He buffed them, as we say in TNT. "Here, you rebels, must I bring water out of this rock for you?" The Lord told him, just speak to the rock. And Moses was so angry, Moses struck the rock twice. And the water gushed out as though the water was afraid because Moses hit the rock. And because of that, the story goes on to explain that Moses did not see the promised land. He did not enter into the promised land because of his anger. His anger made him disobey God. His anger made him make God look small in the eyes of the people. And because of that anger, he ended up not doing what, I am sure Moses wanted to lead these people into the promised land triumphantly, in walking in front and the people behind him. I'm sure he might have slept and dreamt about that so many times, the day when that will happen, when he marches into Canaan. But it didn't happen because he was angry, and his anger caused him to do what he did. Numbers 22, verses 22 and 23. Let's look at another one. Anybody?
All right, I'll read that, Dr. Richards.
Hmm?
All right, Numbers 22, verses 22 and 23.
22 to 33, sorry.
22 to 33?
Yes.
Oh, okay. 22 to 33. All right, no problem. Then God's anger was aroused because he went, and the angels of the Lord took his stand in the way as an adversary against him. And he was riding on his donkey, and his two servants were with him. Now the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. And the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field. So Balaam struck the donkey to turn her back onto the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path between the vineyards, with a wall on this side and a wall on that side. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she pushed herself against the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. So he struck her again. Then the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she lay down under Balaam. So she lay down under Balaam. So Balaam's anger was aroused, and he struck the donkey with his staff. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you, that you have struck me these 3 times?" And Balaam said to the donkey, "Because you have abused me, I wish there was a sword in my hand, for now I would kill you." So the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your donkey on which you have ridden? Ever since I became yours to this day, was I ever disposed to do this to you?" And he said, "No." Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. And he bowed his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have come out to stand against you, because your way is perverse before me. The donkey saw me and turned aside from me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, surely I would also have killed you by now and let her live."
Yeah, thank you. This one got away. Even though he was angry, he got away. He hit the donkey 3 times. Now, I don't know about you all. If I'm riding a donkey and this thing happened, and then the donkey started to talk to me, I don't know if I would have been there still, a donkey talking to me. But sometimes we learn, there was an advertisement with car crashes, and it says you can learn a lot from a dummy. Well, in this case, he learned a lot from a donkey. But I tell you, I don't know how you would have responded. I know if I'm riding a donkey not supposed to talk. But he had a conversation with the donkey, and then the Lord opened his eyes. But he was angry. He was because the donkey was smarter than him. Imagine a donkey smarter than you. Because the donkey saw what he couldn't see. There's so much more to this story, but we move on from this. Let's look at Daniel 2, 10 to 13.
Okay, I guess I'll read that one too, Dr. Richards. Then Daniel, yeah. The Chaldeans answered the king and said, "There is not a man on earth who can tell the king's matter. Therefore no king lord, or ruler has ever asked such things of any magician, astrologer, or Chaldean. It is a difficult thing that the king requests, and there is no other who can tell it to the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with the flesh. For this reason, the king was angry and very furious, and gave the command to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. So the decree went out, and they began killing these wise men, and they sought Daniel and his companions to kill them.
Yeah. So this was when Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and he didn't know what the dream meant. And he told them, and they began, telling him what it meant. He said, I want you to tell me what the dream was. Sorry. I wanted to tell me what the dream was and give me the interpretation. And they're saying, but nobody could do that, king. Nobody could do that. And he said, wait a minute, what are you paying all that for? And I pointed in my language. What am I paying you all for? To tell me what you think I want to hear? I want to know what I dreamt and what the meaning of the dream was. And they said, king, nobody could tell you that. And because of that, he was angry. He was furious. And the end of that was that he gave the command to kill all of them. And the decree went out, and he began killing them. And they went to Daniel to kill him too. And of course, you know what happened. Daniel sought the Lord, and the Lord gave him the dream and the interpretation. Let's look at a couple more before we wrap up. 2 Samuel 6, verses 6 to 8.
And when they came to Nachon's threshing floor, Uzzah put out his hand to the ark of God and took hold of it, for the oxen stumbled. Then the anger of the Lord was aroused against Uzzah, and God struck him there for his error, and he died there by the ark of God. And David became angry because of the Lord's outbreak against Uzzah, and he called the name of the place Perez Uzzah to this day.
Thank you. Here's a situation where a man is getting angry with God. Could you imagine that? Have you ever felt anger towards God? I don't want you to answer that. I just want to think. Have you ever felt angry with God because He didn't work out things the way you wanted to work out? Have you ever felt God? Have you ever felt that way? You see, when you become angry now, God knows your heart, and He knows. And I can imagine David being disappointed. But to become angry, you're actually saying to God, you did the wrong thing. That's my opinion. I don't know if you feel the same thing, same way. So he became angry with God. And people do become angry with God. But I am saying to you, when you become angry with God, you are saying, God, you didn't do it my way. You did it the wrong way. And that is a very dangerous place to be. David was disappointed, and even now, when we look at it, the man was trying to help, but God struck him down. But what we need to understand in a situation like that is that if God said, don't touch something, don't touch it. If you tell a child, don't put your hand on the stove, or the pot, don't touch the pot, even if the pot is falling, the child is supposed to touch it. Because if water will fall, if it's water, the pot will fall, or soup or whatever it is, will fall and burn the child. So you have to follow instruction. You have to be obedient. David took offense to that. Let's look at just a couple more before. Just one more. 2 Samuel 13, verses 28 to 33.
Read on. Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, watch now, when Ammon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say to you, strike Ammon, then kill him. Do not be afraid. Have I not commanded you? Be courageous and valiant. So the servants of Absalom did to Ammon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and each one got on his mule and fled. And it came to pass, while they were on the way, that news came to David, saying, Absalom has killed all the king's sons, and not one of them is left. So the king arose and tore his garments, and lay on the ground, and all his servants stood by with clothes torn. Then Jonadab, the son of Shimei, David's brother, answered and said, Let not my lord suppose they have killed all the young men, the king's sons, for only Ammon is dead. For by the command of Absalom, this has been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar. Now therefore, let not my lord the king take the thing to his heart, to think that all the king's sons are dead, for only Ammon is dead.
Thank you. And I trust that you know this story. Amnon raped his sister, his half-sister, who was the sister of Absalom. And Absalom didn't do anything at that time. He plotted and he waited and he planned. He was angry. His anger, sometimes, there's a saying, revenge is a dish best served cold. It means that you don't strike one time. You don't do anything one time. You wait till people feel, well, they get away with it. And you leave it up to them. So you wait till the thing gets cold and then you strike. And this is what he did. And he's so smart. He told him to tell the king that all his sons were dead. And of course, the king was in anguish. And then to tell him that, no, it's not all of them, just one. Just one. All right? That was part of the plot. But the murder took place because Absalom was angry at what Amnon did to his sister. He not only raped her, but he banished her. He sent her away. As soon as he was finished with her, he sent her away. He said, no, I don't like you anymore. I don't want you anymore. I don't want you to get out. And in those days, because of the Jews and because of their culture, if you weren't a virgin when you get home, you couldn't get married again. So she had to spend the rest of her time, her days, her life in the house of her brother because she was no longer a virgin. And all that I could imagine, day after day after day, this man was plotting and his anger was building up because of what his brother did to his sister. Anger can lead to murder. It can lead to a whole lot of sin. And that's why Jesus said, if you are angry with your brother without cause, we're talking about anger and what it can do. He said, you're guilty of the judgment. We're going to continue talking about anger tomorrow night, God's willing. There's some other things we have to look. And we will look at how to prevent yourself from getting angry, how to deal with anger. It's important because that was a problem not only in those days, it is a problem in 2025. Anger and what it does. Many people are in prison. Many people are 6 feet underground. Many people are in hiding. And a whole lot of other things you could say, all because of this thing, this 5-letter word called anger. God bless you.